Hi folks, in this video I'm just going to show you how to configure score sheets and how to score calls using the Xarios call recorder call scoring module. So the first thing to do is to log in. I'm just going to put in the supervisor username and password in there, and then the call recorder will show me the menu view here, and typically I would be looking at call recordings and searching for a specific call. So I can choose somebody in the support team, for example, and I can say, okay, let's play one of these calls. And just notice up here we have the
Welcome to Sunbeam.
We have a call scoring tab. If I click on the call scoring tab, you notice that we support call segmentation, so we can see multiple pieces of the call. And I'm particularly interested in the segment 3, which is the call for this individual, and he's in our support team. So I'm going to use the support score sheet, and then I hit start scoring. And as I'm listening to the call,
Travel.
Just
Calls may be recorded for
wind the
quality
volume
purposes.
down. I can
Please
go
note
through
that
here
this line is for
and
new reservations only. Please hold
decide how this
while we
call
connect
should
to
be
the next
scored.
available agent.
Now, just notice when you create the score sheet, you can design this yourself. You can create the questions, and you can put those questions into sections. And in this example, we've got opening the call, we've got how the user addressed the support issues, and then closing the call. And as I go through, I can choose to decide how they performed. And in terms of building rapport, I've said, okay, let's say 72%. I've got these marks out of 100, but it's possible to create different types of answers to particular questions. You can also set up guidelines for a supervisor, and you can also set notes here where you can add a comment against an individual score, so that you can review that later with the user. So I'm just going to finish this little process here, and then going to submit the scores. And you notice that it sets a time and date stamp, specifies who it was who scored the call and what the score was, and then you can edit the score sheet if you wish, if you're not quite happy with it, or you can view the score sheet. And once you've viewed it, you can print it, or you can email it to the recipient, or then you can add a comment to say, let's say, overall good call, but be more welcoming. Let's say, I'll say in this case, and then it's possible for you then to perhaps email that to the staff member. So that they can evaluate that they agree with you, and so at that point, you may wish to produce a report. Maybe you're going to do an evaluation, and this is what an agent overview would look like. In this case, we've not scored any for this agent this month. It's Adam Bridgeford we switched to. So, but last month he got 76%. But just notice here, this is what we call our skills map. So 0 at the center and 100% at the circumference of the view, and so I can see that he's got good attitude, but his application and telephony skills aren't great. So it gives you a focus, a quick snapshot of which of the particular categories that each question has been put into apply to this guy and how well he's done. You can then look at specific scores from recent score sheets here. And then it maps the call scoring events over the last 12 months to give you a view of how the performance has gone, and also gives you strengths and weaknesses. So these are the questions that the guy's very good on, and this is the area where they need a bit of attention. And then creating the score sheets is really straightforward. You can go to this section here in the configuration and create response groups, and this is where I was saying about how you would respond to a given question, not merely score them out of 10, but you might give them a rating or yes, no, depending on how you want to design questions. And here's where you specify the call scoring categories. These are the items that appear on the skills map we discussed. And here are the individual questions themselves. So in a specific question, I can set a tip for the supervisor if I wish. Here's how I categorize the question and define whether I'm just going to use a score, a numeric score, or customize it. And then I can set the pass mark. In this case, yes, it is obviously the pass mark for yes, no. Were that to be a numeric question, then you can set the number at which the user passes that particular question. But then this is important. You can choose a particular question and say, look, if they don't get this question right, then they fail the whole score sheet. And then alternatively, you can also make this question optional. When that's done, it means that you can skip the question if that question is not valid or applicable in the context of the conversation that you're listening to. And then ultimately, you create the score sheets themselves. So the one we were looking at was the score sheet for the support guys. You can set the pass mark here, and you can set a weighting and how the weighting is applied. So, for example, this question here, I might want to edit. I'm sorry, I meant to set the weighting here. So I might set the weighting on this one now to 20%. So what this does now is it says for this particular question, that's weighted at 20%, and then you apply how the weighting applies. So does the weighting apply just to this section, to the category of calls, or to the whole score sheet? And in this case, I'm going to say the whole score sheet. So what that means is that that particular question is worth 20%. All of the remaining questions are now aggregated over the remaining 80% of the score. So you can see how you can really customize the weighting and how the scoring is analyzed. You can move questions up and down in the view here, and you can add new questions or add existing questions to the score sheet. So it's really very simple to configure for the supervisor. The other area that's important for call scoring is workflow. So typically you would have various teams, and you'd have the blue team leader. Let's say Rachel is the blue team leader. So I can create for Rachel a workflow schedule. And what this will do here is it will say, okay, for Rachel, find me 10 items, 10 call recordings, random call recordings from the blue team, and I'd like you to do that every week, please. And then assign them to the right people in the business. So you can see how you can assign the score sheet to a particular individual. And then what happens is that once a week the workflow will rerun, and it will find 10 new calls for Rachel to score, and they will be visible under Rachel's task list here. So she just simply needs to go to the task view, click on this button here and play back the call, and perform the call scoring to make sure that she doesn't forget to do it on a weekly basis. And that's it. Thanks for watching.